My name is Stephan Mueller. I'm 32 years old. I moved to Michigan last year in September from Germany. I'm married for 9 years now. We have 4 beautiful children from 6 weeks to 6 years. I probably would say I know about my SSA since I'm 11 years old. 11, 12. It just came up that I realized that I'm not really have any feeling for girls. I was more attracted to the boys, how they look like, what kind of personality they have and all that. This was probably the toughest time for me because on the one side I tried to be really following the gospel, following the teachings, being a good young man, to do everything that was asked of me, but on the other side I actually really lived an open gay lifestyle up until I was 18. 18 was really my turning point. I realized that I can't do this anymore, that this was pretty much tearing myself apart inside out. Because of all the things I've done in the past, I had to talk to my bishop, or it was my branch president actually. And the toughest part about that was it was my dad. He was the branch president at that time. So when I walked into his office, he was really surprised. He was surprised to see me, and not in Sunday school. I sat down, I told him, I pretty much poured out my whole heart and everything, and he just sat there and listened. Didn't stop me, just nodded, maybe asked a question to get more details out of me, but that was about it. The first thing he did, he reached out and gave me a big hug, and told me that he loves me, that he will help me to go through this. I always had the wish to serve a mission. So I got ready, turned my papers in, and was ready to go. If they would have called, said, you go next day, I would have been done. I did all the shopping and everything. First, my stake president received a letter back saying that I am supposed to wait for another year, and they didn't say any reason or anything about it. And then after that year, they picked up the papers again and said, well, actually, we feel like that you should not serve a mission. I was heartbroken. I didn't know what to do. I felt like that there's nothing else I can work on to, because I didn't have any feelings for women, not at all. More to the extent that thinking about kissing a girl made me feel sick. I was okay with holding hand or giving a hug or so, but like kissing a girl, oh no, not a million years. That was really the point for me where I had to decide, okay, what do I want? It was that time when I started to say, yes, let's just try it. Let's just see how the whole dating business works. I started to date, and I had this one girl that I dated, and that was my first time sharing my struggles with SSA with someone else, was that one girlfriend of mine. Her response was, well, okay. And that was about it. She didn't ask any questions or anything. The next day when my mom approached me, asked me if I actually talked to my girlfriend then about my same-sex attraction. And I was like, yeah, but how do you know? And she told me, well, actually, she called me and asked me a bunch of questions. And I told her, well, actually, that this is not same-sex attraction, that I was abused as a kid. I clarified with my mom that's actually not the case. It's actually that I really wanted it, that I actually struggled with same-sex attraction. But that was for me a point where I was like, well, if that's how it feels like, and if that's what it's coming out of, sharing about my same-sex attraction, I will think twice about it if I do it the second time. I was like, okay, I don't know. That dating thing doesn't seem to be working for me. I don't know how I would ever be able to get married. I poured out my heart and told Heavenly Father that when He wants me to get married, that He has to tell me who the right person is. So that was in February. About 6 months later, her sister, my wife's name is Tina, so Tina's sister got married to one of the guys in my ward. And during Sunday school, she had a picture of her sister, and she showed me that picture. In that very moment, I felt the Spirit so strong, testifying that this is the woman that I should get married to. I called her up that evening, and we talked like every other day. It felt different. It felt different to all the other times before. I felt this longing inside of me to be close to her, to be with her, to talk to her, to know how she's doing. It was just different, something that I never felt with a girl before. One night we had like a dance, and we sat down. That was that moment where we just talked and had this really, I don't know how you could describe it, butterflies all over you, kind of. And I just kissed her, and that felt amazing. I didn't expect it like that. I was like, if that is how it feels like, I want more. Well, I proposed a month later, and we got married 9 months after I proposed. But due to my experience with that one girlfriend I had with sharing about my same-sex attraction, it took me a whole year to actually tell her about it. Her response after I told her was amazing. She was like, well, I don't care that you actually struggle with same-sex attraction. The problem I have is that you didn't trust me, that I love you that much, that I don't care about that. It was that moment when I realized how blessed I am with such an amazing woman. It took about 7 years until I actually found out that I'm not the only one struggling with same-sex attraction in the church and trying to keep the commandments. It was amazing to see that there are others out there, others who care, others I can relate to. Only when I started to realize that I'm not by myself, that I can be accepted for who I am, that actually dealing with same-sex attraction comes with traits, talents, things in your life that make you the person who you are, that those things can help you in so many ways. It's the combination of the immense help and love I received from my wife, and the open-hearted love I received from my friends, and the acceptance that made me come to a point about 2 or 3 years ago where I was like, well, same-sex attraction, it's not a big deal for me anymore. It's not dominating my life anymore. I came to a peace with myself. I know that because of my same-sex attraction, I can so much more relate to other people, have more understanding for them, being less judgmental about what's going on in their life. I can't express how grateful and thankful I am for my wife and my family. They are the reason for me why I will never give up. Because I love them with all my heart. They are the purpose in my life. always want to be there for them. When I look back now, 14 years where I started this process of stepping out of that awful gay lifestyle, which definitely didn't make me happy, I can see our Heavenly Father's hands in all of it. That He provided that way, that I can be happy, and that I can love myself again.